what the opportunities are right now are tremendous, and what we're going through as a globe, you know, as a nation and as a global onslaught of this coronavirus. And so today really isn't about the coronavirus. It's really about how do we take a different view at energetics? How do we take a different view at our energy, and how that can also help, yes, our immune system, but our entire life. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to share a presentation. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my keynote presentation here. And just let me know if you can confirm for me if you can see this presentation.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome possum. Oh, everybody is so sexy with those photos. I love it. All right. So High Vibe Health and Wellness. So this is the name of my biofeedback company. And specifically, what we are going to be reviewing is ancient principles with quantum science, advanced technology, and this is the most advanced technology in a person's hands today as far as biofeedback goes, with effortless application to accelerate your desires. Okay, so what we're going to review and go over today is, first we're going to discover. Okay, and the first thing is that the first step in solving any problem is to realize it exists, number one, and to gain awareness and access to the unseen blocks that keep us stuck. And that's the key point. And also to realize all the power that you need to heal lies with you right now. We're going to learn how one system can help see yourself more clearly and really, truly help individuals work smarter, not harder. And then we're going to create by tapping into the potent power of our quantum self, of all of us together, so that we can learn the cause and effect, and that's the key, and get into better alignment. Then we're going to illuminate and we're going to shine a light on these blockages. And then we're going to harmonize and align our energy, this life-giving, and restore our bodies, so we're reducing these unseen stressors. And what I want you to do is walk away with, one, having the awareness, number two, feeling the effects of the biofeedback, meaning how it's going to bring you into a higher alignment with what you come to today. And so, hello, if you don't know me, I am Kassandra. And so basically I'm sitting in my organic salon that has sadly been empty for quite some time. I am an obsessive formulator. I have my own beauty line and CBD line, a functional medicine background. And as of recent, in the last 2.5 years, I've become a clinical hypnotherapist, and my love as a biofeedback practitioner. And if you want resources today on incredible podcasts I've done in the last 2 weeks on quantum energy, specifically to what's going on right now, head over to the Awaken Beauty podcast and you will get episodes there. And so what I'm talking about today, and what you're going to access, you yourself and us as a collective, is real results. And this comes from real people. People have had experiences of like, oh my gosh, like on the bottom right, I can't believe you brought up my brain injury on this program. People sleeping better, all types of experiences. And so what we're really looking at is, so as above, so is below. Okay. And so when we look at, let's talk about hypnotherapy, for example. Specifically, when I have somebody in the room and I'm working with them on the higher mind, lower mind, is we're really taking the subconscious and the conscious and we're bringing them together to do problem solving. So if we first look at number one, that thoughts are frequencies in the brain that are directed from the spirit mind. If I cut your head off and I put it over into the side of the room, your brain could not think by itself. It has to have an electrical input. And so I call this the spirit mind. And the energy generated by our thoughts generate emotions, emotions in motion, and they fire off biochemicals in the body, neurotransmitters, hormones, that either promote positive healing or negative energies. And over time, this is what knocks off our immune system, that over time then creates dis-ease. So we're seeing here that the first point of contact is actually the energy that's coming from our spirit mind. So there's always a transmission of input that then we either choose to bring it in or we bounce it out, or our subconscious is just basically soaking up everything around us, hence why we shouldn't be watching the news all the time. So we are consistently vibrating at a frequency matching our beliefs. And this is the kind of the key thing that we want to tap into today as a group. And this sends out an energy that signals that attracts everything in our lives. And we are vibrational matched to our desires. So if we're very doom and gloom, or we're very introspective and we see the good in things, in order to feel better and attract the results we want, we must shift into the higher mind and understand what's going on in the lower mind so we can raise our energetic vibration on the inside. And this is the realignment that allows our bodies to heal better, to sleep better at night, decrease the speed of aging, and more. So moving into this same belief set, we kind of want to go into, ooh, look at that beautiful transition. Isn't that nice? We want to look at how does this happen with the biofeedback, with what we're going to be talking about, and how does this work with the program that we have today. So if everything is in a state of vibration, movement creates vibration, and this vibration is perceived as sound. And if that is true, every organ, every bone, every tissue, and every system in the body creates a sound. And Paul Nogier, if anybody's ever heard of the Nogier tones, and if you're in my biofeedback program, you probably have seen them in your holding tray. And these specific different notes, and Sherry Edwards is one of my mentors, she has basically detected every single note directed back to an organ. So D is a specific note that maybe will help with your digestion. So with that in mind, what happens is the larynx picks up the energetic tone of our energetic state. So we can see the imbalances and then instantly shift them into coherence through biofeedback technology. So when we're speaking, every cell, our blood, even the field around us has a specific energy. So even if we're bringing up something in today's session, it may not even be you, it may be something in the field around you. So really, what is quantum biofeedback and how can it help us? So first and foremost, it doesn't diagnose, and it's a method of energetic testing and harmonizing. I had Ryan, the developer of this beautiful technology, on our podcast last week, and you can kind of learn how he has been leading the industry for over 30 years. And you now have access to the entire biofield of subtle energies, which to me, and which is now known by scientists, whether you talk to Bruce Lipton or Joe Dispenza or Sherry Edwards or Jill from my podcast from last week, we now know that before there's an illness or a ill frequency in your health, it is an energetic piece. So that's what we need to address. And if we think differently about prevention, this to me is the ultimate biohack. So what is accessible to us? So really what we want to do is we want to open up the constructs of hidden stressors. So if we really look at this kind of outline here, as we've talked about low-grade infections, toxins, stress, EMF saturation, which is huge, and we're learning at 5G right now, specifically with the coronavirus, is that hotspots all over the globe are lighting up where there's the most saturation of EMF. And I'm talking 5G. So what does that mean? It means, number one, that it degrades the immune system. Number two, if we really think about energy and everything is in a wave form, and I really enjoyed learning about waveform physics, is that if you construct more connectivity with 5G, there is a faster transmute of information. And that can even be cellular messaging between two people, between a biofield as an entire city, and more. So we're able to look at, with this program, and you'll see today, we're going to look at the body, and this is what's accessible to us. We're also going to look at the mind, and we're also going to look at the spiritual. And on top of that, what I've done for us tonight is I put in different libraries that we'll be able to tap into for our immune system. So how does it work? So first and foremost, we're all going to speak, and I'm also going to input our pictures, and then a date and birth name is basically going to be the day that this group was formed. And over the next week, I'm going to be sharing these tones and playing them for all of us. You're going to get in on that tonight and in the week. Your frequency is then compared to other frequencies that have been programmed into the biofeedback system. So if we know from all of these researchers over 80 years ago that the body has a specific resonance that is in balance, a perfect harmony for the organ, or let's say your mind, or what have you, all of these are programmed into the program. And then when we speak into it, we can then detect the high and low numbers and learn where we're off balance. So there is a disturbance in the energy field specifically. And then we take this information and we use it as a vehicle for non-biased prevention. Now, the key here is that it's non-biased. And so this is very important. So let's say as a functional medicine, someone that understands that world in natural medicine, have you ever been to your chiropractor and they do muscle testing? And they come back from a weekend seminar, and I used to go to these all the time, and I would come back and I'd be like, oh my gosh, everybody needs glutathione and vitamin B. Everybody has a deficiency of X. And so everybody in that office would get supplements in that specific order, because there's a bias that the mind and the body is starting to kind of test everybody for that thing. This device is completely non-biased and it cannot lie. So really, we do have the power then to create a frequency as a group. And we are able to co-create and rise together in the journey to discovering the evolving truth of who we are. So I'm not just going to pull up and zap a bunch of vitamins into everybody. We're actually going to uncover the emotional entanglements, because to me, the presence of our mind and being able to be at the front of our brain versus back in the imagination, and that's where we can turn up all of our emotions up 200%, whether they're right or wrong for us, that's where we get into trouble. So it's all about presence, becoming aware, and then we can go into the immune boosting. But what I want you to know here is that we share, all of us, if you've ever read The Power of 8, we are a frequency of all of us together. And so we will bring this in and we will all benefit from that. So what we want to do, and this is where we'll go into the fun, is really start to tap into what is this group frequency. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my iPad. I'm going to take a photo. I'm not sure if we can get us in. But what I know from all of my experience is that we are able to do this through just voice alone, even though we may not have everybody's photo. So what I'm going to ask everybody to do is on 3, 2, 1, what we want to say is AEIOU. And then what I'm going to ask is for all of us to kind of think collectively together on what we really want to address today. And so what we want to do is bring awareness to the subconscious mind. So here's something to think about. Here's the fact. The subconscious mind will prove to you what you are not and what you are. So if we say, raise your hand if you've ever, said affirmations, I am. The power of I am. Well, here's the thing with this, and this is a nuance. The subconscious mind is neutral and it's there to serve you. And if you say, I am rich, let's, just say to yourself, I have $16 million in the bank right now. And feel what that feels like in your body. Or say, I have $5 in the bank and it's all good. You probably have $5 in the bank. It's true. And so you'll kind of feel a twinge. The subconscious mind will say, sorry, that's not true. Because the subconscious mind is there to serve you. You are the genie in the bottle and it is there to serve you. Versus saying, I desire wealth. So the difference here is huge, but it's small nuance. Because what we're doing is we're using the device to give us insight on what the current true beliefs are. And by saying I desire, then the program will show us what the subconscious mind one believes. And then even by saying that I desire more wealth, what you're actually telling the subconscious mind is, okay, cool. Let's go find more wealth. Where do I see more wealth? Because then you're directing it to go and bring it to you, to go and see it. So it wants to serve you. So its words are nuances, but they're very powerful. And I understand everybody's framing around I am, but if you're not that, the mind wants to be right and it'll prove you wrong. So that's the key thing here that we want to really pay attention to. So basically, this information is then used as a vehicle to raise the level of awareness so that we can make supportive decisions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I'm going to let one more person in here. Hello, Catherine, welcome. So basically what I want everybody to do is I want everybody, if you can, for me right now, I want you to go ahead and type into the chat. And if you can type into the chat, one thing that you want to, it could be feel better about, something that you want to bring to the group, an awareness. What do you desire? Just whatever it is, unfiltered. Go ahead and type into the chat. So what do you desire? Go ahead and type that into the chat. What do we want? What do you want from today? What do you want to feel? Could be, I want to feel less stress in the body. I desire, you just go ahead and type that in. All right, so has everybody seen the chat? I desire focus, renewal, clarity, self-control over mind and body. Oh, we all need more self-control over mind and body cooped up. Empowerment, productivity, peace of mind, regardless of the current circumstances. Love that, Amy. I want to feel less stress. Good. Awesome. I want to feel less stress from Kate. Self-connection. I desire balance in my thoughts. So if I could have one person go ahead and maybe make a summary for us. If somebody wants to kind of take the lead here. And Bob says, I desire balance in my thoughts, self-connection, less stress, desire and focus. Who wants to be the lead and kind of bring all of that into a summation and, bring that forward in what our goal is for tonight's session? Don't all speak all at once. I see a lot of microphones off. Go ahead and turn your microphone on.
I would, but except for I can't see anybody else's responses but my own.
All right, cool. So we've got productivity, self-control, clarity, renewal, more focus, peace in my body regardless of current circumstances, less stress, self-connection, and a desire to have balance in my thoughts. So who would think it would be a good summary of all of those?
It sounds a lot like really breaking things down into categories, being able to communicate those like outwardly.
Mm-hmm.
And like just to simplify things.
Okay. Want to share?
Yeah, when I hear each person's desires, when I think about something that is common underneath all of them is so we're, you know, each one, focus, clarity, it's gives us a sense of peace. So I see peace kind of being the main undercurrent of each one of those.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, foundational. The pieces, yeah.
Awesome. So what I hear you saying is wanting to have more focus, clarity, and a sense of peace. Now,
well, like what other people said too. I couldn't remember what other people said, but it seems like the underlying kind of emotion that we're wanting to feel through the various ways, desires we all stated, is a sense of peace and calm.
love that. Clarity, sense of peace and calm. So go ahead and type in yes if you agree with what she says. And if there's anything else that you would add to that, just go ahead and add yes. Yes, I'm getting yes from Michelle, Kate, Kathy. Good. So it looks like we're in agreement. So I'm writing this down. So
it's just a natural health, you know, how we feel when we're healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that's what we used to be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's what I used to be. I didn't have to work at that. Now I have to work at that.
Mm-hmm. So what if we brought this into, what if I formulated it into, I want to be free and able to express my true nature and to flourish.
Yes.
I like the word flourish. That's great.
Does that feel good? I mean, to really be free and to be able to express our true nature. Because if we really think about it, our true nature is, like going back to the beginning of the presentation, is the constructs of what we've soaked up in the subconscious mind. Now remember, we're 5% conscious during the day, 95% of us is regulated out of the subconscious mind. Between the ages of 0, and I would say pre-uteral, and the ages of 8, we have no analytical mind. And we call that the prefrontal cortex, which is then developed. So if you have children at home under the age of 8, they basically are a sponge. So if we have any trauma, if we have anything past that of the age of 8, then it gets stored and then compounded after that. So our true nature really, and I always call this the logos, is basically when we were born into inception, is when that sperm and when that connected and we were actually brought to life. And if we really think about it all the way back down to that purity, that's life itself. It's life itself of us unfiltered and untampered with all of the slew that we then get put into when we're born onto earth. Now, it's how our perception is. But remember, the subconscious mind is what's perceived, what's really stored in the subconscious mind. So your perception is your own experience based on your upbringing and everything that you've experienced and chosen to do with it up to this point. So let's tap back into that. I want to be free and able to express my true nature and to flourish. Okay? So that is what we are going to say together. So I'm going to go ahead and type it into the chat, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to see it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type that in. And then as a collective, we will go ahead and say that. Now go ahead and say yes to me if you can go ahead and see that in the chat.
Nope.
Nope?
No.
Okay. So everybody practice with me. I'm going to say it. So somebody just said, I just wrote it down. So that would be far better. Let's go ahead and be innovative and grab a pen or our phone. And I'm going to say it again. I want to be free and be able to express my true nature and to flourish. I'll do it one more time. I want to be free and be able to express my true nature and to flourish.
Yeah.
Got it?
Got it.
Yes.
Awesome. Got a yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up my device. And I am going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see it. And I'm probably going to use my photo and imprint you guys after our session. With your photo once we're done. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and trust my computer here. All right, so let me go ahead and plug this in.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh.
Hold on, I'm just getting it to share. All right, so let me see if you can see that.
Yes.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Rock solid. All right, my friends, so this is the device. So what we want to do is basically what we do is as a group session, this is spa night, that is our name, and this is what I'm going to play for us all week. And then I went ahead and I put in the date. Okay, we're going to go ahead and skip this piece right here. This is where we would put in ailments. Now this is where we are going to speak in what we had just decided to share. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. All right. So on a 3, 2, 1, let me go ahead and bring this up.
I want to be free, able to express my true nature.
All right. Cool. So I want to be free and be able to express my true nature and to flourish. So what we are going to do is we're going to say that first on 3, 2, 1. And then after that, we're going to say A, E, I, O, U together. All right. So on 3, 2, 1, let's go ahead and we will start. 3, 2, 1. I want
to be free, express my true nature, and be free.
Flourish.
A,
A-E-I-O-U.
A, E, I, O. Good job, guys.
A-E-I-O-U.
Solid. Got it. All right, so I'm going to be the surrogate for the clan, and I'm going to take a picture of myself, and then I'm going to transmit us into the group photo after we're done. Cheese! All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to bring, as I noted, the vibrational imprint of all of us together. And then next, what we want to do is the desire. And this is the affirmation. Okay? So this is what I'm talking about with the subconscious mind. And this is where we're going to type that in. So what do we desire as a group? So if we want, what would it feel like to be more free and be able to express ourselves? Would we have maybe desire greater freedom to be ourselves and to be seen for who we really are and be fully recognized for who we really are? What would that look like? What would that affirmation be for us? So I desire, who wants to say what they desire for the group today based on that first part of the framing?
It's almost like being whole.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So maybe I desire greater freedom to express my true nature, and to feel whole. Anything else we want to add to that?
And to live judgment free within ourselves.
So what would that feel like? You said the word free.
Judgment free. So to feel like you can embrace all aspects of yourself.
Maybe acceptance.
So
Yeah.
but that's looking at words. What does that feel like?
Oh, it feels.
So to be whole and to feel free and embrace.
Me.
It feels joyful.
Embrace joy. Wouldn't that be, do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolute essence of joy. Wonderful. So there it is. This is what we're going to measure. So this is what comes up. So I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of my front layout here. And even though we may see some differentiation of colors, it doesn't mean that's where I'm going to go. Okay? So when I was talking about the body, mind, and spirit, these are the different areas that I go into and work with a client. And I take very, very conscientious time going through each of these and looking at the bigger picture. So that's what we're going to do today, is look at the bigger picture. Now, I'm going to go ahead and walk us through this, and then I'm going to go ahead and probably do a little bit of toggle so that you can really see with your mind's eye the importance. Oops, I'm going to pull up my chat here. The importance of being able to see with the mind's eye as far as what we're reviewing. So first, what we're going to go into is I am going to go ahead and check the Nogiers. So when I first spoke about the Nogiers, this is Dr. Paul Nogier, and he is a doc that, let's see where we are. Here we are. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to tell a beautiful story, okay? And so I'm going to write these down. But if we go to, I'm going to go ahead and write these down, and then we'll kind of go ahead and take a look at that. So if somebody could, so we've got F, B, C, E, L, A, D, G. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so edit in Google Docs. All right, I'm going to write this down. So we've got F, B, C, E, L, A, D, G. Okay, so I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So we're going to tell a story. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn off my camera. Turn off my microphone. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Great. All right, ladies and gents. So here's our story. So if we look at F and we go into what F means. So you can see here, correct?
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna kind of divide this, and we're gonna create our story. So this is basically this front end of our story. So we've got F, B, C, E. Somebody want to name the next one?
L,
Great, thank you.
A,
Okay,
D, and G.
wonderful. So what we're looking at right now is this is the start of looking at the conscious and subconscious mind. So when I talk about higher mind and lower mind, okay, our conscious, and we're really looking at cause and effect. The cause and the effect are the subconscious and conscious mind. So if we look at the story and what we're bringing up on what our affirmation was, is the most stress point is how you speak about yourself and others. And then next is the inner beliefs and the impact on our nervous system because of the way that we see ourselves, which in effect is how we serve others. And it's caused out of emotional pain and an imbalance because we need to repair our self-image of ourselves, which is causing us stressful thoughts and stripping us and stealing our creativity, all of our inspiration and our motivation. So from the high mind and lower mind, if we look at this, from the high mind down to the subconscious, is how we are speaking to ourselves at this time of our true inner beliefs that are coming out, and how we see ourselves. That's also causing us emotional pain imbalance because of a need to repair the image of ourselves, and that's just not physically. And it's causing stressful thoughts in our creativity. Does that resonate with anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So next then, what we want to move into is to the chakras. So the goal here then is to look at, and I'm going to go ahead and share my device again, is to look at how is this then affecting our energy body. Now, who here knows anything about chakras?
Little bit.
A little bit.
Who can share?
I've read quite a bit about it.
All right, share with me what you know about the chakra system.
So each time here's what I think I know. Each time we speak A, E, I, O, U, A represents a certain part of the chakra that affects, like we just, the bones. So it starts at your pineal gland. So E represents a different chakra and so forth.
Okay, so when you're
I don't-
you're saying that you can pick up the chakra system through the voice. Now, it's not necessarily that, and thank you for sharing that, Bob. It's not necessarily that each of the AEIOU is a representative of the chakra system, but it's the energetics from the larynx that we're able to pick up where the energetic blocks are in the chakra system.
Right.
Yeah. So who else would like to share what they know about the chakra system?
I know them to be, energy centers, within our body.
Mm-hmm.
And each one has a direct function or a direct impact on different organs within our bodies and our spine, nervous system. I mean, our whole body. And so they're like these vortexes of energy centers throughout our body.
Love it. Exactly. So the chakra system, right, wrong, or indifferent, it can feel woo-woo, but there are actually over 180 different chakras. And we only have or claim 7 of them within our chakra systems within the body. If we go back into those that really understand the energetics of the entire field, there are chakras that lift way up on top of our head and way down into the ground. So we're really focusing on these 7 chakras. So let's go ahead and go into what our chakras are telling us. Now, based on the information that we just took from our story from the Nogiers, okay, we'll go ahead and go into the chakras and kind of see where that is affecting our chakra system. So what we have coming up, and let me explain what red and blue means. Red means that it's a higher energetic state. It means it's something that has come into the field as of recent. And think of a high vibration. Blue is going to be a chronic state. Think of something that hasn't been able to move or cannot move very easily. It means that it's been there for a while. And if we think about energy, you cannot destroy energy. You can only shift it. You can move it. And that's the whole point of we really need to focus on moving the energy. So the crown is in a chronic state, and the sacral chakra is in a higher energetic state. Now, anything above 600 and below 150 is what I really pay attention to. And the middle is somewhat okay. So we're really looking at the brow chakra, and we're looking at the sacral chakra and the crown chakra. And what's interesting about that is those are mostly higher states up in the mind, right? So if we go back to what our story was, it was about how we speak to ourselves. It was our inner beliefs up in the brain. It's how we have these stressful thoughts. And so the solar part, or the bottom parts, is where the creativity is stored. It's where, you know, the skin and nerves and all of that. So it's correlating back to what our story was. So what I'm going to do for us, and this is what's going to be brought into our system, is you didn't see me do this, but I'm dragging this up into the top, okay? And I'm going to zap that while we're talking. And I'm also going to bring it down into the bottom because we need to support the sacral and crown chakra. Now, if we look at, let's see, let's go ahead and take a look at our system again. And we look at sharing the story. Our chakras, can you see here? So the sacral chakra, I'm going to go ahead and bolden, is courage and strength. The crown chakra is your divine will. Oops, I'm going to go ahead, and if this is too loud, let me know. I'll try to turn it down. So what I'm doing is I am going to zap this. I'm going to move it down to 1 minute. Now, what does that mean? What I'm doing is I'm taking these top pieces. Actually, I want to take a picture of our aura first. And we're going to start shifting this. So let's go ahead and take a look at our starting aura so that we can really see what we're shifting. All right. Now, so you can see, I'm going to go ahead and show you our aura. I'm going to take a snapshot picture of it. So here's our starting aura, which really isn't too bad. It's a little bit gray toned. Okay, so we could really see a lot. It would be nice to see some brighter, some brighter colors in here, etc. So we've got that. Now what I'm going to do is I've got these items pulled up into the quick zap tray up on top.
Kathy, is it aura based on our photo or our voice or both?
It's both. So
Okay.
I'm the surrogate as the photo, and then our voice is mostly what it's picking up. And, you know, when we're looking at an aura, the more muddy it is, the more kind of gray tone means there's lack of energy, where we want to really shift that energy and start moving it. You know, the lower chakras are going to be the reds, the oranges, the yellows. And so we really kind of want to bring in some more clarity, some really deeper, richer colors. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for 1 minute. So again, our lowest point and our highest point was courage and strength and divine will. And then moving from there, our brow was perception and vision. And that was the next stress point. Awesome. You responded very well, which is great. So now that we've moved that into quick zap and we've shifted that, I'm going to show you in just that amount of short time how we can already start shifting the energetic within all of our field. Because remember, we are sharing a field right now. So this is cohesive. So see that? So what's interesting about this is yellow. Yellow is, and what's interesting about this image is that yellow means actually coming into a learning state. It's creativity. It's moving into the higher mind, and you're you're actually getting new information. And in the left, you really need to look at this like we are facing ourselves. So what's coming in is the left to right. See that dark shadow on the left? See that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's what we want to start shifting, and that's what we want to see kind of move out of our field. And then that lower side, we've got some pink starting to come in. And that pink is showing clarity of spirit, is showing clarity of heart and the heart chakra. And the violet actually is connected to the pineal gland. So remember me talking about the crown, and that our crown was actually having an issue. And so what we're doing is we're starting to bring in that violet, which is connected to the pineal gland and the crown, and is also related to the nervous system. It's a higher energy, okay? And then green is going to relate to our hearts and our lungs. And this is actually metaphysically related to trust, surrender, and healing. All right, so that's just an example of what we did with just quick zapping those energetic pieces. Now where we're going to go is we're going to go into the mind, and we're going to look at our brain. We're going to look at how our brain is stressed out. So we've got low gamma, we've got high alpha, and delta. So I've already pulled in on the bottom down here, you can see in this tray, I pulled in our chakras because we want to keep the chakras, so we want to support them. Up here, we've already shifted this, and so we're going to clear all, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring low gamma, and I'm going to bring delta in. Does anybody know what the delta is related to?
Is that a more higher alert state?
Delta is actually going to be sleep state. So when we're having a hard time sleeping.
Oh, the sleeps, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. So sleep state, so delta, so anybody having a problem sleeping and that it's a chronic issue because it's been going on for some time, raise your hand, right? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, right? So then we've got low gamma and we've got high alpha. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to sharing our presentation so that we can connect the dots with the mind's eye. So it's important for the mind and the metaphysical to connect the dots here. So starting with delta, low delta, poor sleep. Okay, so this is where when we talk about meditation or we get into that very low meditative and we start to sleep, you know, with hypnotherapy, people think I put people into a trance. I don't do that. I'm actually bringing them out of their own trance. But what I am doing is I'm shifting their brain states. And I'm moving them into a meditation level where they can...
We speak.
Bob, did you have a question?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just talking to myself.
Okay, so it's good. So this is where the brain waves slow, okay? Then what was our other piece? Low gamma and high alpha. So low gamma, depression, learning has been very hard. Why? Because we're scattered. We can't pay attention. We're constantly being pinged by everybody's email, and everybody wants to offer their courses, and everybody wants to tell you that they love you, blah, 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 right? Raise your hand if you get yes on that one. High alpha, inability to focus. It's going right back to where our first state of our first part of our story was, right? So stressful thoughts, all of this. So what do we want to do? We want to go ahead and bring these pieces up, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to zap that for a minute. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Nope.
No? So we're going to zap that. So we're going to let that run for a minute. Now the brain, you know, obviously, you know, we're talking about the higher mind and lower mind. So we really want to kind of, what I'm doing is I'm helping us clear the subconscious mind and the stressors that are going on and actually telling us what the real story is. Because again, our perception is what our perception is through our own life's experiences. But what I'm going to say is, even though we may be quote unquote zapping and clearing the energy for us as a collective, you have just as much power to see this with the mind's eye and look at high alpha, daydreaming, inability to focus, depression. And when that hits our spirit, we can acknowledge it, but not get stuck in it. And that we can say, okay, I acknowledge that that's a real feeling right now, to be absolutely sincere to ourselves with self-love. But that also means that we're also working energetically together here to start to shift that. And that's what I'm here to support you with. And this is how we get real clarity on what the subconscious mind and the conscious mind are telling us. So next we're going to move into Bach flowers. And we're just getting to the end here, and then we'll do a little bit of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go back. Let's go ahead and take a look at our aura again. Let's see how that shifted us, and then we'll move into Bach flowers and turn into the emotional piece and kind of see how that can also support us.
Oh,
Awesome.
look at the shift.
So we did shift, and we've got that kind of yellow kind of opening up now. We're getting all of this expansiveness. We're starting to open up the pink, and we still have some yellow, and that green is moving into the heart. Now, what did I just talk about? I just talked about self-love and talking about how we can bring this into our mind's eye and actually see it firsthand and start to shift our mind and thinking, how we can then say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to be in this state, but we're now shifting that into our awareness. Now, the orange, we don't have much of the orange, but we are seeing more of the violet and the gold. And to the violet. And the gold is going to bring us that enlightenment. That's going to mean divine protection. Okay, it's being guided by our highest good. And what it is it's the wisdom, and it's the inner knowledge, and the spiritual mind. It's the intuitiveness. And that red and orange kind of situation that's kind of coming together on the outer constructs is the sacral. We're moving that out, and we're moving the stamina, and we're moving into that creativity. We're moving into forgiveness from unforgiveness. So moving forward, what we're going to do,
My side's really hurting.
Whatever you need to do.
is move into the Bach flowers. Now, who here is familiar with Bach flowers?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Share with me what you know about Bach.
Well, it's taking the flower essence
Mm-hmm.
and distilling it to, I don't know how to speak to it, but it's a lot like homeopathy, which is what I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
So it's taking the energy of that flower, basically, and then you're ingesting that energy. I don't know.
Yep, absolutely. So Bach flowers, what he was able to do is he was one of the first to be able to prove, and he has thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals and anecdotal data to confirm his research, that the mind and the body, when they're not in coherence and balance, and that's what we're talking about here today, is that when they're not in coherence, they're disfragmented. So by using the Bach flower remedies, we're able to bring the mind and the body and the emotional piece into alignment. So the Bach flowers, and I will say this right now, the Bach flowers and the bush flowers in my other library are the most powerful outside of the solfeggio tones that I believe are on this panel. Because most of us have a subconscious entanglement with our emotional health. And we can't do it alone. And we can't see it alone. And that's why I love this device, is because even though you may want to deny that that's not what it is, your subconscious mind is telling you. Now, if we go back in the 80s and Candace Pert, she was the first person to actually pick up on the protein of the human genome, that there's issues in the tissues. And our stored emotions are literally stored at a vibrational frequency in our tissue. That's why when people lose a lot of weight very, very fast, or you're having a massage, you're moving your tissue. That's why some people break out into crying. Some people get emotional. You're releasing all of those things when you are releasing them from the tissue. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the top two, the bottom two, and the middle. So why am I going to look at the middle? Well, if we look at the middle, that's going to be our most supportive Bach flower remedy for all of us here today. So if we look at the top, our top is going to be olive. And where am I going to put that? I'm going to put that in the bottom tray because I want to carry this with us. And wild oat. Our two bottom are beech and chicory. And if we go into the middle, around the 400 round, we're going to bring in scleranthus. Okay, so I'm going to go back now. I'm going to take our notes. I'm going to make sure that I send all the notes to you guys. And I'm going to bring these in, and I'm going to go ahead and play these. Oh, come on. There we are. While we go back to our notes. Okay, so let's take a look at these. And if somebody could go ahead and read for me what the meanings are for olive. So who wants to read what olive means?
Rejuvenation of life force, sense of well-being.
Awesome. So rejuvenation of life force and sense of well-being. Our next one is going to be wild oat. Okay, who wants to read that one?
Work on expression of inner calling, manifestation of one's true goals and values, work experience motivated by clear life purpose and conviction. Excuse me.
Great, thank you, Bob. I really want you guys to soak these in. Work as an expression of inner calling, manifestation of one's true goals and values, experiences motivated by a clear life purpose and conviction. So I think we're all being called to a higher sense of being right now, of who we are and who we choose to be. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yes.
Yes.
Beach. All right. Tolerance and acceptance.
Woo-hoo.
Mm-hmm. So who said woo-hoo?
Amen. Yes.
All right. So what does that mean to you guys? Can anybody kind of speak into what does that mean for you? Because everybody has a different perception on that. What does that mean for you?
Completely opposite of what's going on today.
Yeah.
Say more about that.
No patience today.
Mm-hmm.
No patience. Can't even drum it up.
Mm-hmm. Who else wants to share what that means to them?
For myself, it's more of a tolerance and acceptance personally, because that's the external things, like everything that's going on in society and things like that. I can't control that. It is what it is, and I have to pretty much just kick back and wait for this all to be over and move on towards life. But for myself, being acceptance for myself, like where I'm at in life, what my body looks like, where I'm at with my age, where I should be with my job, accepting where I am and where I maybe air quotes should be for a woman my age in this society.
Yes.
So it's more of a personal thing for me than it is a societal thing.
Wonderful. Love
Mhm.
that. So let me go ahead and read another description of beach, because I abbreviated these for the purpose of, I like to get to the point. But beach is striving to have more tolerance of others, of circumstance, and of themselves. For those who feel the need to see more good and beauty in all that surrounds them. And although much appears to be wrong, to have an ability to see the good growing within themselves and to those around them. So as to be able to be tolerant, lenient, and understanding of the different ways each individual and all things are working to their own perfection. So if we look at a global construct of just the word beach and that lies within it, it's really representing the strive for tolerance of others and everybody adapting and readapting to how the world is shifting in our very eyes and will never be the same. Amen to that, or amen?
Yeah, amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need that.
So if we go back to olive and we look at the longer meaning of olive, just to kind of go on that thread, let me go ahead and see if I can find that. Olive is the exhaustion. And this is what I wanted to pull out with olive. Olive is exhaustion following mental or physical effort. Those who have suffered much mentally or physically are so exhausted and weary that they feel they have no more strength to make any more efforts. Daily life is hard work without pleasure. Amen?
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's where we're getting support today. It's very coherent with the story that we first were presented with. Now let's move into the next one, and that is chicory. Chicory, chicory, chock. Let's see. All right, who wants to read that?
Respecting freedom and individuality.
Awesome. So what was our first intention speaking into the genius was to feel free to be our true nature and to be free, right? So respecting freedom and individuality, chicory is finding good boundaries. And what was so interesting that this is coming up is this was my meditation on all of us. I did a pre-meditation on all of us. And I, was basically praying to spirit over all of us around boundaries. Because when we start to shift our energy, what's actually happening is if you think about leaky gut in our digestive system, it's because there's no boundaries. We haven't put in the discipline to create better boundaries. And when we start working on our energy, these are two things that I hear more about from people being on my program is they sleep better, they feel less stress. And number two, they start speaking up and they have better boundaries in their life, which is huge. So finding good boundaries, respecting other space. Those who are very mindful of the needs of others, they tend to be overfull of care for their children, relatives, friends, always finding something that should be put right. They're continually correcting what they consider wrong and enjoy doing so, and they desire for those whom they care should have needs from them. So who's taking care of others right now? Families at home, moms at home, worrying about your elderly parent.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen. So we're all bombarded by that. So
No, come on.
I'm just going to go ahead and mute Bob there for a second. All right, so then moving on, our middle ground is going to be scleranthus. Okay, so somebody could go ahead and read the scleranthus for me. Hello?
Decisiveness.
Inner resolve, weigh choices, and make judgments.
Decisiveness, inner resolve, weighing choices, and making judgments. So scleranthus, now this goes back to our story, the inability to choose between alternatives. Those who suffer from being able to decide between two things, first things from right to the other. So obviously we're very scattered right now, is that correct? So let's go back to the Bach flowers. And I'm going to pick an additional one because I want something that's going to be very, very supportive for us together. So if we look at the Bach flower, how does everybody, I'm going to give us two choices. The first one is going to be cherry. Let's see, where are we at in the middle here? So rescue remedy and rock water. So those are our two choices, and we'll go ahead and pull one in. So the rescue remedy and rock flower, let's see, and rock water. So rock water is being flexible, spontaneous, and flowing. And let's see, where are we at with vine? And then vine, selfless service for others and ourselves, individuality, and interconnect to the higher power. Which one do you guys feel more of a connection to? Being flexible and flowing?
I need rock water.
Rock water? Okay.
Too as well.
All right. So rock water, being flexible, being spontaneous, being able to flow. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to do something what I call a progressive insights. And this is going to bring up our most dominant, which is wild oat. And the wild oat was the work in the expression of our inner calling, our manifestation of our true goals and our values, and being able to be motivated with clear purpose and conviction. Okay, so that is going to be what I'm going to play right now. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and let that play. Does anybody have any questions? And then what I'm going to move into is the spine, and then we're going to move into just a little bit of immunity, and then we're going to close up the night, and then I'm going to play these tones for everybody, and we'll see where our chakra's at. Does anybody have any questions for me? Michelle says I have a question. Oh, your mics are off. Well, why is that? Let's see. Unmute. I'm going to unmute everybody. Amy, you're allowed to talk now.
Great.
Awesome. All right. So I'm unmuting. Anybody have any questions for me? How does the EMF frequencies from your own phone computer interfere with the frequencies of the biofeedback? And does that have an interference? The energy from our devices. So what I always say, right, that's done running, is that absolutely everything living in this world that we are in today, you know, EMF has a strong input on all of us. Can you guys see me at all?
Yep.
Yes.
So you see this device right here? This is, I had an interview, and I'll put this in the show links or to your notes. This is from Philip with the company called 9010, and inside it are little spheres that have charged energy. There's 3 different charges: scalar energy, which is from scalar energy is whole different research, 84 vitamins and minerals, and 10 healing waters from around the world. I wear this all the time. It blocks EMF, and it also gives me the energy and the healing energy to always be in my field and push out. They have done research with this guy alone. They have not been able, if anybody's heard of Emoto, which we're talking about here is energy, where they could put a note on the water glass and the crystals, and it would be able to show rice would go black, and then the ones that would have positivity notes on the rice, it would be bloom and be completely white. That's what this energy does. So when we talk about EMF, I always recommend that you have something on your device. But what I'm able to do in the program, and I will do this for us today because you asked, is go to electrical sensitivities. And all energy and waveforms have a certain frequency. So you want a physical barrier, and I have, I have a barrier on my phone with a little barrier on my phone watch. I have something on my physical phone, and I also have constructs in my home and in the salon that breaks it. You see here on the program, cellular frequencies. I'm gonna bring that down in the tray so I can support ourselves with that. Radio waves. So that says, basically, when the radio was born, we know that there's wave technology because when you get right into the right frequency, you pick up the sound. And then electrical appliance, 4-inch lights, let's see, and cellular frequencies. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those in there for us so that we can help defrag that energetic input. Does that answer your question at all, Michelle?
Yeah, I guess I could have spoken. I wrote it out, but yeah, I was wondering because when you play the frequencies, I have my diffuser sitting next to me. I've got the light turned on, my computer, and I was just wondering how that may interfere, or, but you explained it well, and I don't have anything to block it. So I have not prepared my own devices like you have. So I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I think for anybody living in a 5G world, I mean, it's Dr. Mercola has basically dedicated his last part of his research to 5G and how it is absolutely going to tear down our health within this 2-year construct. Now, what I can say about the frequencies when you're getting the biofeedback at home and you're shifting your energy, you're bringing your body back into coherence and back into balance. And as long as we cannot fight everything around us, whether that's 5G, the negative input from an abusive words from our husband, or the negative energy in between our own brain, that puts out different neurochemicals. But what we can do is that we can gain awareness through this, become aware, ooh, I need to shift that thought. I am devoted to shifting that thought. And then playing the frequencies or even putting on 528 hertz on YouTube is going to help your body get back into coherence. So let's bring that up into the constructs of coronavirus. Coronavirus, and Sherry Edwards, who is my mentor around biofeedback and coherence with sound frequencies by acoustic health, she did a study. And she has been able to pull apart pathogens through sound. And I'll share that device or that episode with you. What she learned is that the coronavirus, and we can now link back to this was not a natural formation, was created because every single time she would create a sound frequency around it to detect it and pull it apart, new proteins would build and double themselves. She'd do it again, proteins would build and double themselves. This is why they're having a hard time stopping the virus. So what she learned, and this is what I'm going to give you today right now, is we'll do next, is that she detected the very frequencies that help boost the immune system to disengage the frequency of the coronavirus. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share libraries. And I have made hundreds of libraries. I have my own imprint, plate, vibrating, energetic tones from a nutraceutical or from my own products. I actually push out frequencies into all of my skincare so that my skincare is more bioavailable. Frequency medicine is really going to be the medicine of the future because it's free. When you're getting the imprint of vitamin C, you're getting the frequency of C. What the cell reads is the vibration when you eat an orange. Same with the frequency of sending an orange frequency. So to me, you're able to get clear on what you need, get rid of what you don't, and continue to broaden your input of a stronger immune system. So add on coronavirus. Isn't that interesting? It's right on the top. So you can see that right here. So in our input for us this week, this is the research that Sherry Edwards did, was luteolin, glutathione, and quercetin. And then the other coronavirus is here. So this is the resilience. So again, higher frequencies. This is what's pulling in for all of us. Complete contaminant of the virus, echinacea, and then if we go down, coronavirus, garlic, grapefruit, miraculous healing, and buckthorn. Okay, now we're going to go to the emotional pieces. I don't want to spend too much time on corona, but I want to bring this in here just because it's relevant. So I made these different libraries. So pain, cortisol levels balance, all is well. Mustard, which is going to be the frequency of Bach flowers. I forgive. I really want you to sink these into your mind and into your subconscious. And the corpus callosum. Now the corpus callosum, and Kathy, you can speak a little bit into this too, is that, you know, when our corpus callosum is not able to be in balance, whether the left part of the brain or in the right part of the brain. And so when we're able to kind of get that equality into the middle of the brain, it's helpful. Forgiveness is coming up again. Hippocampus, sweet chestnut, which is mental anguish. Ginkgo biloba, Star of Bethlehem. Now this is the frequency. Now this is interesting because it's a chronic frequency. And this is the shock that we've all been in. This is our bodies not knowing where to go, what to think, and what to do. So we're gonna help shift that for you today. And serotonin, restoring our serotonin levels, which is gonna bring in our happy neurotransmitter. So let's go ahead and go to depressional lift. So we're going to bring in amino acids, pineal gland, be grounded in present time. Again, forgiveness, clearing grief and suffering. I tell you what, last night I was just so agitated, and I was angry on the top. When I pulled myself up and I spoke into what I wanted, grief kept showing up and showing up and showing up. I've had grief for loss of my business. I've had grief for being able to see people, grief for seeing everybody in pain. And I think all of you can agree. I completely satisfied in the present time, peppermint in our nervous system. And then we'll pull these in as well. So a lot of brain, aspen, acetylcholine, a lot of brain activity going here, which is also coherent with the top part of our story. Cool. All right. Now, I think we're good there. And then just for a little bit of fun, how about you guys, we pull in a little bit of anti-aging. How's that sound?
Yes.
It's spa night, so I'm not going to let this go without some anti-aging.
Right.
So let's flip this on. Circadian rhythm resynchronization. So
Yes.
this hertz is 285 and 528. And 528 frequency is the mother of all frequencies. It's the ultimate healing frequency, and it's a reparative DNA. So when they play 528 frequency, it starts to repair the DNA signal in our genome. Maitake, just going to be an adaptogen, reducing the visible signs of aging. Hoshu Wu, which is going to be an Chinese medicine for vigor. Think about testosterone. And pituitary stem cell activation. Let's see, now just because it's red or blue doesn't mean that that's all that we need. Ashwagandha is a wonderful adaptogen that is good. Glutathione to repair our gut. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of detoxing. Let's go into this for you, my dear Michelle. Detoxing EMF. So this is going to be the Rife frequency. And Rife, Dr. Royal Rife, was able to detect frequencies. Remember the woman that sings and the glass shatters? Boom, it breaks that apart. Auto repair, electron, pineal gland, lion's mane. Awesome. Anything else anybody wants to work on? Anything that they feel like, I just need this right now. Give it to me.
Anxiety, digestion, if that wasn't already in there.
Digestion? Does anybody have a problem with digestion?
I do.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our top enzymes.
Okay.
I have just tremendous acid reflux.
Me too. Yeah.
All right, so let's bring in our enzymes. I'm gonna go ahead and do a full suite of enzymes. So we got our enzymes in there, and then we're gonna need some probiotics. We'll bring those two on the top stressors with the probiotics.
Is there anything like retaining water? Like I retain water like crazy.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the detox. So let's do a little bit of lymph drainage and systemic drainage. Bring a homeopathy. Let's see what else we got in here. Now, one more thing that looks good for us is that I want to talk about finally, and then we'll go into the Solfeggio tone, is parasites. Now, parasites, and one of the biggest things that we're learning, we're talking about the coronavirus, is a new retrovirus. And most of us have molds, biotoxins, and parasites that are present in our body that do not allow us to heal, keep us from being able to lose weight, make us confused, and they keep us up at night. And I started addressing parasites in my body and then tracking it with a biofeedback, was able to sleep better at night. And I was able to pull them out. Now there are people in my biofeedback program. What I do with the device is I say, okay, we're gonna track these biotoxins and we're gonna see if they get any better. And if they don't, sometimes I will put people on a physical detox on the supplement to help them do that. And I'm seeing a wealth of information come up that's helpful. Now, what else is parasites representative of metaphysically? Somebody talk to me.
Ask that question again.
Parasites metaphysically, what does that mean to you?
Invasion.
An invasion to our body.
Think about your home. Think about your biofield. Think about people around you that maybe judge you or don't think of you, you know, as seen as who you are. Those are all things that attach to us. Those are things that leak our energy. They take away from us. And so we want to cut the cord to those. And more than anything, I think a lot of us, if we go back to our very beginning, we want to be free. So we have to cut the cord to the things that we are attached to, addictions that we are attached to, and we have to let them go. So we're going to pull in the parasites that are most stress conducive right now. So we got worms and these different parasites that are pulling up. And we're going to bring these in here and we're going to release those. And then I'm also going to go in and I'm going to bring in the solutions. All right, so I want you to think about that right now and just meditate on that, of what are the parasites that you need to let go. Because remember, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are married. And when they can come together in ingredients, it's just as powerful as the frequencies, because you create your own frequency. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. And then last, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring in spine and solfeggio, and then we're going to end up the night because we have been on and I didn't expect to go this long, but I want to talk about frequencies. So spine. Something I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and empty our quick zap. And what we need to do is we need to open up the top and we need to open up the bottom. So sacrum and C1. So why am I doing that? Remember the chakras? They're blocked. So what we need to do is metaphysically, we need to open up the top and bottom. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to read to you which ones are coming up for us, C1 and what that means. The spine is connected metaphysically to every part of the body. C1 means, and I want you all to think about what this means for you, not being heard. Mm. Not being heard. Mm-hmm. C1, that's a chronic stressor. C6, opposing authority and submission. This one always comes up for me. It's constant. And a part of that for me, and I think all of us, is that, damn it, government, don't tell me where I can go, what I can do, where I can shop, who I can be with, who I can't be with. Now, some people go to Walmart and there can be 65 people in a Walmart or 200 people in a Walmart, but a person can't walk into somebody's home and a loved one, right? Yes. So I think the world, the globe is waking up to, holy shit, I knew that they were tapping into my cell phone. I knew that they were powers that be, but this is a reality and we're going to continue to see people out on the streets. And so to me, this war right now is not one of government. This war right now is of good and evil. And the darkness has been in control for so long. And we are just, and I will say this, and you'll hear this now, just the beginning. Yeah. Just the beginning of the awakening. Now, all the spiritual teachers are we're all awakening. Like, this is really, truly the awakening of the average folk, taking back their life. Next, T3. So thoracic 3 is going to be conflict with mother. And my mom's on this session tonight. Mom, I have no conflict with you. Love you. A conflict with mother. Mm-hmm. Now, if we really think about this, yes, it could be physical, but this is metaphysical. So think deeper on that. Who can give me insight on what does conflict with mother mean to you, metaphysically? Other than Angie and your mom.
Trying to fill the shoes of what? I can't think out my thought.
So being at home and trying to fill the shoes of being the caretaker of everybody.
there we go. Yeah. I feel like I'm the caretaker of literally everybody.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to bear, but yes.
Right. I have somebody, Karen is typing in the divine feminine energy. Now think about that. I always say men were put on this earth so that they could learn how to love women. And women were put on this earth so they could love themselves, learn how to love themselves, right? Before that divine feminine energy, that mother, to me, we're bringing in the mother energy to what was dark. And that's caretaking for what our highest needs are, going back to Maslow's law, and that's survival. Okay? Thoracic 6, unable to digest words. Thoracic 7 is resistant to something. And that something is disgusting. What's disgusting to all of us right now?
The government.
Isolation.
Power.
Control.
Use,
Yes.
Power and control. Okay? So we're going to tap these in and we're going to bring these in so we can support ourselves on those. And thoracic 12 is going to be a sexual conflict and deviation and or feeling guilt. And then thoracic 12 and then 4 is going to be issues with rules and regulations. Okay? Does that not thread divinely? So we've already opened up the top and the bottom. Our chakras are now cleared. And we've also put in the supportive energies. And last and not least, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in solfeggio tones. So solfeggio are the frequencies that they have been able to resonate with the earth. I've already said 528 helps with DNA repair. And the solfeggio tones are bringing resonance back into the body, equilibrium, and harmony. So what we're doing is we're just bringing harmony back to the body. So expressing uniqueness. So what was the first part of our story and our affirmation was the ability to express ourselves fully. Awakening intuition, in which I think we are all experiencing right now. Is that correct? And then the transformation of miracles and DNA repair, which is 528, and 852. Returning to spiritual order. And to me, this is the starting of the win of light overcoming dark. The very beginning of that. Right? Just happened through the coronavirus. So, this is what we're going to play, and this is everything that's in our tray. Is there anything else that's really bugging anybody today that really feels that they haven't spoke up, that they really need support with, that we can work on? Last and final call.
Well, fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown.
My husband lost his job. My business is suffering. So there's always, the fear of the unknown, what will happen.
Right.
So we're trying to tell ourselves we're positive. That underlying tone, I guess, in my body is that repeated cassette is like, you're broke, or, that. So I want to eliminate that. So
right. Cool.
Well, and I'm not articulating myself well.
You are absolutely articulating yourself. The fear of unknown is an absolute innate instinctiveness in the human body. So here's why. Daniel Siegel is a profound research and does a lot of brain research, and it has something called flipping the lid. And can you see me?
Okay.
Yeah. So when we flip the lid, what's happening of the fear of the unknown and why that's so instinctive is that this is our limbic brain. This is the primitive brain. This is the amygdala. This is where all of our memories, imagination, and emotions are stored. And this is our prefrontal cortex. This is where when things come in, we either decide what's right and true for us and we bounce it out if it's not, Or if we're not aware in our life and we're present in our life, it sinks back into our subconscious and we just let those beliefs come in. We have no filter. What just happened is we all flipped our lid and we're walking around like this. We have absolutely no filter and we feel totally threatened because we're living out of the limbic brain. And when we're out of the limbic brain, this is 300 billion years ago, based on, holy shit, where's that next thing going to come by? I gotta get food. Where's the food going to come from? And I got to fight for myself, right? So we're constantly thinking that we're in fight or flight and we need to fear and fawn because we're fighting for our life. Now everybody close your eyes. I can't see you, but please trust me and close your eyes. I want you to take a breath and start moving that breath and just calm your body. Move down into your heart and just thank yourself for being here and spending this time and helping yourself come to more presence, calm, and clarity. Now I want you to go back in your brain. I want you to go find a memory. I want you to find a memory that was pre-corona, pre any of this. It could be in your childhood. It could be your favorite picnic table on your favorite beach. Whatever that is for you, go and find that favorite memory. Find it right now. And you'll most likely find an area in the brain where it's at. Go ahead and take a finger and point to that area on the brain where you can find that happy memory. So happy, so fun, so happy. Go ahead and find that spot in your head and find that memory. Everybody got it? Give me a yes when you find that memory.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now I want you to go ahead and open your eyes and come back with me. Keep your hand on that memory. Right here with me. Look my hand right here. Look my hand. Almost as if you have no phone, no name, no phone number, no nothing. You don't know your address. Right here, right here. Feel that presence moving up. Nothing that you, now feel that shift from the back of your brain up to the front of the brain. Fully present right here. This is where we need to be in this time right now, and I would argue in our life. Now we can go back and find a bad memory or a good memory, but we have the ability to go back into our imagination, and we have a negative bias when we think. We think we are pieces of shit. That's how we walk around in this world. We have a negative bias. And then layer all your own self-beliefs from your childhood. But our true ability is that we have agency of choice. Now, if you go back and close your eyes back down again, go back and find that happy spot. Do you physically feel your whole mind shift back down, back into that happy spot and go find it?
Yes.
Can you feel that shift? So bring that, and I want you to hang on to that happy spot in the back of your brain. Hang on to it, hang on to it. And I want you to go ahead and bring that happy spot, and I want you to drag it up to the middle and top of your head. Keep your eyes closed, bring it up to the top of your head, and just bring it up to the top of the head and place it on the top of your head. And I want you to take that same happy memory, and on the right, I want you to go ahead and just take it over to the right, and I want you to say out loud with me. Say, I am so happy.
I am so happy.
I am so happy to be alive.
I am so happy to be alive.
I am so happy to have community and to love myself, to take the time for myself.
I'm so happy to have community and to love myself and take time for myself.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
Down to the right, and now all the way down to the ear. I love myself and I am safe.
I love myself and
Love myself and I am safe.
Good. Take that finger, go back up to the top of your head. And we're going to bring that down to the left. And talking it down on the left, saying out loud, I release fear.
I release fear.
Fear does no good for me.
Fear does no good for me.
It steals my relationships.
It steals my relationships.
It steals my family.
It steals my family.
It steals my joy.
It steals my joy.
I'm turning it off.
I'm turning it off.
Turning it off.
It's completely gone.
It's completely gone.
Good. Now think about that happy memory for a moment. And then go ahead and open up your eyes. Be present right here with me. Look at my hand right here. Look at my hand. Now feel that presence and physicality in your body and how that emotion was before you did that exercise, and how does your body feel? Do a check-in and let me know how you feel. From 1 to 10, where does that feel now? I'm clear.
10.
How about everybody else? Tell me where you're at, please. 10 being good, 1 being bad.
8.
Good. Who else?
8.
Okay.
6.
Good. Close your eyes back down, please. I want you to visualize a dial, an old dial, like turning up the dial on an old record player. And it's in the middle, and I want you to take wherever that number was for you, and I want you, with your mind's eye, your spirit mind, eyes closed, I want you to take that number and say, I am safe in your internal space, and I want you to turn it up. I want you to turn it all the way up and let me know when you get to 10.
Yes.
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 Good. Everybody there?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Go ahead and eyes wide open. Look back at me. That's agency of choice. That's moving out of the limbic brain, going back and finding emotion in the spiritual mind, because they're there, and we have the choice that we get to focus on, and closing back down the prefrontal cortex and using our agency of choice to knowing that we are safe. And we actually are free. And this is the start of winning the war of spiritual wickedness in high places. Do we agree?
Yes.
Awesome. So with your request, Michelle, I think it was you that requested it, or whoever it was, to be free of feeling like you don't have a choice or you don't know what's ahead. At every point, we all have a choice to use our agency. And all of us are in a different situation. I can choose to be jealous of people that still have a job and can just sit at home and still get paid. Or I can choose to create a different creation for myself and the hopes and dreams of different things I wanted to do and do it right now. So that when I get back into the salon, it's already in motion. That's my choice. Everybody has a different choice. And sometimes we just have to be present with what we have. But I am going to bring in cutting the cord, because that's how it's at top. And I'm also going to bring in embracing the light. And I'm going to take psychic attack up, entities up, dark forces up, and auric protection down. So what are those two things that we also talked in the beginning was cutting the cord. And what we want to do now is embrace the light. So I'm going to go ahead and quick zap those for 1 minute as we close this up. And when go ahead.
I had a quick question. This is Amy. Did you also address sleep in there somewhere? Because I'm waking up a lot during the night. I didn't know if we addressed that.
Yeah, we can. I'll go ahead and pull that in. And
awesome.
But I think that that would be probably a very fair thing that we can do as well.
Awesome.
So I'll go ahead and pull in sleep for us, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at our aura now that we've shifted those. How's that sound? So peaceful sleep, sleep restoration, clear effects of blue light. That means please stay away from the computer's light at night. Emotional, bring in emotions with sleep, because that's what I think a lot is going on. GABA is really going to help slow those neurotransmitters down. Insomnia healing frequencies, we'll bring in those frequencies. And for Michelle's sake, we'll clear EMFs again. So steal in our energy, and then we'll bring in all the chronic. And that will help us as well, and we'll go ahead and play those tonight as well and through the week for you guys, okay? So we've got a lot of goodness in this bottom tray, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and do one more progressive insights, and we're gonna begin all. Can you guys see the phone?
Yes.
I don't know what you guys can see. You can see the phone?
See,
Okay.
we see your screen of now the,
Lymphatic drainage.
Yeah.
So this is when I do progressive insights, between everything that we talked about tonight, this is what's pulling up for us at the most predominant rate now. And this is where I'm going to play our frequencies from, because I'm going to focus on the ordinates of what's most important to least resonant. Okay? So lymphatic drainage. A lot of us now think metaphysically. We need to release these things, let them go. What did I say in the beginning? Cognitively, we can let them go just as fast as a frequency. Embracing the light. We've got some adaptogens, some antidepressant, insomnia frequencies. Forgiveness keeps coming up, everybody, so let's take that into coherence as well. I am completely satisfied in the present time. So these I'm going to go ahead and play for us tonight, and you will get them tonight, and you will get them also through the week. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more final aura for us. Now this, keep in mind, you know, we can keep working on the aura, but I think this is bringing us to a close tonight. We had a wonderful evening. My phone says it's 3:41, and I don't know why it says that. But. So we'll go ahead and take one more look at the aura. Ah, awesome. I love it so much. All right, guys. So can everybody see that?
Yes.
All right. So we have opened up the throat, and we've tapped into our true higher mind, which is our spiritual mind. Okay. So blue in the lower left, and what's continuing to come in is healing. It relates to our throat and being heard. It's also related to our thyroid. And it's also related to being better about communication. So I hope you can carry that with you today. And that there's a new internal communication that's opening up and deepening the unspoken word. And then violet is again related to the crown chakra, the pineal gland, and the nervous system. It's healing, and it's that higher energy to unite consciousness. That's with each other and with the higher spirit. That line that's linear in the mind, that means that there's messaging coming in, both on the top, and you can see that bottom, there's a bubble. There's a bottom and there's a top. That means there's ordinates with spiritual oneness coming in, and that's coming in through a groundedness, and it's also coming up into the highs. When we opened up the chakras through our spine and opened up our spine and dragged those in, that's clearing all of that so that our mind can really, and our spirit can really open up. And on the very, very top, you will see the yellow and almost a white ordinance of white, which is ultimately one of the highest points of frequency that we can be in, which reflects the energy of being in a pure state of light. This often represents a new and not yet designated energy in the aura, and a spiritual, non-physical qualities of transcendence and higher dimensions of purity and truth. It also means that there's angelic essences within our aura around us today. So that is it, guys.
Thank you.
Thoughts,
Thank you.
thank you.
Can everybody type in for me, please, into the chat? What was your biggest takeaway from this evening? And I always call this popcorn, because we can all walk away with our own perception of what we walk away with, but I'd like everybody to walk away with what your key piece was for you personally that you got from tonight, please. So everybody, can you type in the chat, please? So Michelle says, I loved hearing about the Bach remedies and how they relate to our inner beliefs. Kathy says, finding and keeping and hold of positive thoughts and images. Yes, the mind doesn't know if it's real or not. So visualization is huge, kind of like that exercise I did with the mind. It's a great experience of how you can go back into the imagination and bring what you choose to think about up. And then we've got that I am not the only one feeling this way. No, you're not. That's wonderful. I love it. And then Michelle, but overall, I loved it all. Awesome. I don't have everybody's key takeaway in here. If you want to speak it, that's fine too. Stacy, do you want to share?
Oh yeah, I was just typing.
Okay, cool. Why don't you go ahead and type it in? I want everybody's notes. Bob says, I learned how to influence the aura. Awesome. Amy says, biggest takeaway is how frequencies can heal the body. Love and happy memories going to change the channel. Absolutely. Agency of choice in our use and our learning. Stacy is embracing joy. I love that. And that's what we did here tonight together. Awesome. We got Amy, we got Bob. Kate, I'm not hearing from you. I don't know if you're online. And Kathy spoke, Stacy spoke. Candy, do you have any thoughts? Candy and Karen, I'd love to hear from you. Or Candy, that was, I am not the only one feeling this way. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was me.
Awesome. And then Karen, is there anything that you have to share with us today so that we can close off everybody so that the spirit is united? Kate says to take time for ourselves to concentrate on the newness in our minds, body, and spirit, and to know others have feelings like I do. Yes, I love that. All right. And then Karen, do you have anything to share? Well, she said thank you. So awesome. All right, guys. Well, that is it. And so I just kind of wanted to just close off here. And I will go ahead and share my slides with you guys. So I will email you guys the slides as well. I'm going to go ahead and share my keynote here real quick. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, to end us off, you know, I just kind of wanted to offer you guys. So basically, if anybody's on my biofeedback program, I've shifted how I do it. I am requiring everybody to do at least 2 one-on-ones with me so that we can really understand where the higher mind and lower mind are. So we can start to shift the beliefs and then tie in all the other pieces. And then what clients do is they send me a selfie and a voicemail each week. I work on their frequencies and then show them their aura. And I'm doing it differently where I'm really clearing all of the negative and only bringing in the positive so that we can really make a faster, stronger influence on the essence of the aura. And then basically we automate it. You listen to that 15 minutes in the morning and at night or overnight as you sleep. And then you're able to shift your frequencies. Now, if you can imagine how you can get there faster when you can see exactly what vitamins and minerals are out of balance, what kind of place that your chakras are in, if you're having throat issues, you're not speaking into your life, it's really impactful. And so what I'm going to offer everybody today is if you want to do it, even if you're already on my program, is a 20-minute phone call. And that's a discovery call with me. And there's a form that I will share. And I'll put that into the chat and I'll also email it. And so basically the opportunity is a 20-minute call to talk about if this would be something that you'd be interested in. To get deeper sleep, better boundaries, emotional support, immune support. It's a prevention tool because everything is energy and energy is everything, which turns into illness over time, especially because it starts in the mind. And so this is really how you can tune up. So anybody that wants to take that and take a hold of that, I'd be happy to share that with you. That's the link in the form. And Karen says, no doubt I was supposed to be a part of this group tonight. Bruce Lipton and others you mentioned have deeply impacted my being, and I want to stay in touch. Thank you so much, Karen. And really, that's the higher consciousness, and now everybody is starting to pay attention to the impact of the frequency of the mind and the power that we have. And I really believe that sound and frequency medicine is going to be the future because it's free, it's very, very powerful, and it's controlled by you, not anybody else. And I'll share that video by Sherry Edwards as well. Bob says it's overwhelming and very enlightening. I will be more positive in my life. So there's the form. Anybody wants to take advantage of that, that's there for you. You will get an email to follow up with that. Anybody else have any closing thoughts before we take off today?
I just wanted to share that I don't think the group chat is working, so maybe the email would be great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Call. That's no problem. You'll get that in that one day after
Okay.
email as well. So want to thank
Awesome.
you guys all so much. Sorry for the technical errors in the beginning. I love you all.
problem.
We all were supposed to be here tonight, and we all needed this for a specific reason. Your frequencies will be playing through the night tonight and all through the week, and hopefully you pay attention to how you will shift your own frequencies on what you became aware of today. All right. Have a good night, guys. Love
Thanks,
you all.
Cassandra.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank-
you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Cassie.
You bet.
Good job.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, guys.